Hey, good morning, Joe Deary, Powerful Improvements, Putnam, Connecticut. It is Friday morning, February 24th, and we're having some freezing cold weather again today. It's about 35, it's warmed up. What I've done over the last day or so is clean up my barn and organize a little bit. And I just reclaimed the top of my bench. Haven't seen the top of that bench for at least a year. And I put the 5.5 up there. All right, and what we're gonna do is change the fluids in this thing, inspect the belt, put the feet back on. We're gonna take a wire brush and clean up the motor, get the boogies and cobwebs off of it, and generally get her ready for service. So I'm gonna turn my little space heater on in here, close the door, and get a little work done. All right, the first thing we're gonna do, since we got it set up this way, is take off the cover and see what's going on with the belt inside. These are coming off surprisingly easy, since I have to admit, once again, I've never taken this off. I'm sure that no matter what the condition of the belt, it would be in my best interest to order a new one and have it on hand. So I'll be giving Russ Johnson a call a little bit later today. I like to order most of my stuff like that from Russ. I get all my injectors from Russ, valving, stuff like that. I just like working with them. Good people. He's always there for me if I have a question. And that's Southside Equipment down in Kentucky. You can Google it. Southside Equipment in Kentucky. All right, let's see what we get in there. Let's see. Wow, that looks nice. That's clean in there. The belt's in really nice shape. Not dry, not cracked. I'm surprised. We'll order a new one anyway, but that looks really good. Really good. This is actually 3 separate belts. I think there's an option you can buy that's 1 belt for the whole thing. We'll do whatever Russ recommends, and I'll let you know. But that looks good. All right, that's put back together. We're gonna clean this up when we're done. Just wanted to see what was going on in there. Next is to reinstall the feet. I don't know why I had 2 feet off of it. I can't remember. I think maybe because I had bolted it to the skid, but I'm gonna lift that, turn it around, lift it up, put the feet back on. Pretty cool. Going through my parts bin, I found exactly the right hardware to use. I got the feet that had been stored away. I'm gonna clean them up a little bit. I'm gonna use that original washer, dry it up, clean it up a little bit, because it fits perfectly in there, the way it's supposed to. OEM, baby, OEM. Beautiful. Just found all this stuffed up in there. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is take the unloader off before we start draining fluids. And I'm gonna need this piece on the next unloader, so it's easier to take it off now while it's on here nice and sturdy. I've already loosened it up, of course, with the adjustable wrench I just showed you guys. And that's it, a little bit of water coming out of there. Now we'll get a hold of that and pull it off. Almost forgot to take this off. All right, we got a brand new VRT3 ready to go in. Cleaned up all these fittings, a little bit of thread tape. We'll be back in business as far as that goes. All right, and the same thing, we'll put the unloader on first onto the pump. I'll hold that little thing in to get by there. Get this in position before we put our fittings on, so that everything's held for us easily. And we got the engine oil draining. That's nasty. Drained the pump oil, and I made a mess in there. I'm gonna stuff a rag up in there and let it drain. I'm gonna let this drain for probably a couple hours. We're gonna take a break now, have some lunch. I gotta run a couple little errands, and we'll come back and fill these fluids back up this afternoon. We'll let that drain for as long as possible since it is freezing cold out here. All right, just finishing up the oil change. Napa 530, 1 quart. That's all she takes. All right, and we're using the 30 weight non-detergent oil from Napa in the pump. All right, she's gonna get a once over with some steel wool, gently. Not gonna go too hard. Try to take off the major SHs on here. And then I might go look at getting some compound at Napa. I tried using a little bit of wax right here with a polishing wheel that I have. Didn't really work that good. We're not going to invest too much into doing this. I'm not that concerned about it. It's not going to make it run any better. I wouldn't mind having it look a little bit better, but again, we're not going to go crazy. Maybe a 2-step process and we're done. All right, that's a little bit better. I'm not going to fool anybody. It's got fine scratches on it, of course. That's what the steel wool is going to do. I tried to do it as uniformly as I could. I'm happy enough with it. It's going right back to work. And she looks better, so throwing it back on the truck and thinking about plumbing it over the next day or two. It's going to be entirely too cold today to be messing with any hoses. I may go find the valving that I need, but that's about it for today. All right, at least get a look at her in the daylight. Get the new VRT3. Pump oil change ready to go, engine oil ready to go. We spilled oil, so I wiped this steel frame best I could with it. I'm gonna call that, treating and seasoning, okay? So that looks nice. And we polished up to some degree the belt cover, and it looks good. Nothing much more I'm gonna do to it today. Too cold out. Get into position. This thing's gonna sit right about there. Whip line's gonna run right under this one. It's gonna be perfect. Got this clocked right, so you can change these and turn them how you want it. So this is pulled straight off the back of the truck. And we'll get a few more one pull baby videos coming up. Real happy with it. I'm glad to see it back in action. Simply sitting in the barn, so may as well put it to use.